This is ION Hong Kong with Key.
And this is Harminder, and we'll be discussing the top news for the week involving Hong Kong and China. And welcome to the 46th episode of ION Hong Kong. Who are you?
Someone from Al Qaeda.
Why are you wearing a shower cap and a face mask?
It's not really a face mask.
It's a face mask, damn it. We can't be that much of a low-budget operation. No, I'm kidding.
I think it's an ID parade here, right?
Oh, okay. Now I get it. Oh, it's a police lineup, an ID parade.
Right.
Right.
So I have the paint cap.
Right.
Here. Make it
very
more
representative.
Like
and
exactly, like a gay parade.
Well, the point you're making obviously is that.
But can you recognize me?
No. Well, maybe with the pink shower, but no, I'm kidding. The point of that is.
The point of that is that it's quite difficult to identify someone if you have your hair covered and with your face covered with the face mask and the shower cap.
But the new police chief, Stephen Lowe, said that is perfectly acceptable.
Actually, as is quite right. In some circumstances, we do have shower cap or the face mask during the
if you were pulled out of the shower by the cops, maybe. But other than that.
Or someone attacking someone with the shower cap.
Or if you were attacked in the shower.
Probably.
Yeah.
Like these
bathhouses.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't have them in this city, so I don't think we have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, even the gyms have individual stalls here.
So we learn something at least every week about our rights.
Yeah.
Right.
You have the right to not be caught.
By wearing the shower cap?
Yeah, and I mean, what's the point of a freaking police lineup if everybody can? I mean, everybody could just come in wearing a Wookiee costume from Star Wars.
No, the thing is that about the shower cap is that you can have your facial features stand out to for the person who to doing the identification parade to just strip off some very distinguished or biased kind of hairstyle, because some people people do have.
So if you got blonde hair and tattoos and
people do have this kind of bias still in Hong Kong, right?
Well, you can't just say he's got blonde hair, so he must be a criminal. It has to be he had blonde hair plus all these other features.
We are not discriminating against the Scandinavian race here.
No, I'm not saying just because you have blonde hair. I'm talking about the typical
Monk style blonde hair, right?
Okay.
See?
But if I'm in an ID parade and somebody says, was that the suspect that was there? And say, well, he has blonde hair, so it must be that guy.
But at the same time, probably someone who actually attacks someone with the blonde hair, and then when they're doing the ID parade, they will dye it to, black or brown or something.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So probably stripping off some characteristic or some changeable characteristic of some person in the ID parade.
Okay, so if the ID parade protocols need to be changed, how can that be done? Well,
you're asking me.
Well, you're the Mr. Law here. You should know this. Would it have to be initiated by the government, or could the police do it themselves?
Have to be initiated by the government, which means by the police. They have to change the rules. At the same time, I mean, this serious part about this ID parade was that not only they have this shower cap, but also the face mask. Because it's actually basically...
I'm telling you, Star Wars, Wookiee costumes, that's all you need. All of them do look like a Wookiee.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you only can identify that person's eyes. And don't you remember that during that incident, and none of the police wearing facial that face mask. Yeah. And none of the police wearing any cap at that time, where we see from the video of TVB. Right. Then why do they wear the shower cap and the face mask?
Well, again, we forgot to say why this incident took place. It was because Ken Jeong, a former guest of ours who was beaten by the police, went to an ID parade and they all wore shower caps and face masks, right? Right. And he's like, what is this? And the police's rebuttal is, one, it's their right to do it. It's to protect their rights or whatever that means. And the other reason was that that because pro-democracy people who were arrested during Occupy were non-cooperative, so the police had the right to be non-cooperative as well.
Well,
Are we really getting to that point?
That people against the police and police against the people.
Yeah.
That seems that is that they're trying to create that kind of atmosphere.
It's
in Hong
kind
Kong
of
as well.
childish, don't you think?
I have to take it off.
No, you look beautiful that way.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I take it as a compliment.
That should be your gimmick. If wherever you go around the city, just wear a shower cap. Pink shower cap. It's my new style.
I like it.
It's trendy now. Wear a shower cap outdoors.
Just a bit stuffy.
It was just raining a few minutes ago. That would have been perfect.
I'm not going to wear that during the show.
I tried. You know what the new trendy hairstyle is going to be for the coming year, right?
I thought it's the all back hairstyle.
No, it's now it's going to be gray. Gray is going to be the new trendy hair color this year. So I'm way ahead of the curve.
Because you have gray hair.
I'm way ahead of the curve. It was in the papers, damn it. So I'm going to take whatever I can and just say, no, I'm not old. I'm just trendy. We have the new police chief, Stephen Lowe, sworn in. And
the class rep.
Why don't you explain to the audience what it means, the class rep?
Because the pro-establishment, I think it's like almost government mouthpiece newspaper, Sing Tao Daily, and they published this bio of this new police first man, and then they have this introduction saying that he was in the high school and primary school. He been appointed as the class rep, and it's showing that he has great leadership. So,
I was deputy mayor of student council. Doesn't that count? Does that mean
no, it doesn't count because it's not the class rep. Have you been a class rep before?
No.
So you have no leadership.
I think we had those in high school.
No, you have no leadership. I have been the class rep, the head boy, so I have great leadership.
Oh, you have great leadership.
I'm going to put it in my CV, and I think
that should be the first thing you're in your CV.
Yeah.
In your cover letter. I was the class rep. Just one sentence.
Right in the executive summary.
Yeah, there you go. Right. That's it.
Yeah.
You got the job.
Funny thing is that other media, and then they have do something very silly research on the Google, and then they search the bio of other government officials. They also have this very silly summary of them being the class rep in high school.
So why is that so significant, you think?
Because it means that you've been showing leadership.
Leadership skills?
Yeah.
In your class?
Or
But who is that impressing, you think?
Not me, because definitely not me.
Let's say a certain age group that may have never finished school because they couldn't at the time because of economic issues. So they had to work instead of go to school.
So they think that being a class rep is a big thing.
It's a big deal.
Oh my God.
Yeah, more than actually finishing university, you were the class rep in your high school.
Well, like the
you
class
should
must
be
very big.
Yeah.
It must be like 100 people.
Exactly. Class rep. Chief executive must be the same job.
Yeah. Same thing. And also some of these because the new police first man, he was from this famous posh school, and then they say in this introduction saying that he was appointed, but the students in this posh school actually saying that they never appointing the class rep, they actually do the election.
I want to make one correction. We said that was the Ken Jeong incident that happened with the shower cap and the face mask. Is actually the TVB reporter assault.
Oh right.
My mistake.
Yeah.
Ken Jeong's police lineup had them looking down, not looking at the mirror. I mean, straight ahead and stuff. The TVB reporters who were attacked, and plenty of photos online to show who did it.
Yes.
They were the ones that said that when they went in, they were wearing face masks and shower caps. So just wanted to correct that. All right, we'll move on to the big controversy this week. Oh, God. This is the feature item of the week.
Yes, there's shower cap.
Yeah.
So anyone who likes
this clock here.
Yeah, and anyone who likes to have this shower cap, please send us an email and
send us a donation on it. We could use the money. Okay, so this week the big controversy. Well, last week and a half ago, but it kind of blew up more after the weekend. Was a performance at Lingnan University by a band. I'm trying to find their name here. Sweat and Blood Attack. That's the name of the
group. The band.
group, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, of the band.
Why are we mentioning these school kids? concert.
They had an interesting performance. Why don't we play clip 1 here? And as you can hear, it's kind of
swearing.
Lots of it.
Yeah.
In both languages.
Too.
In both official languages of Hong Kong. They were obviously not happy with the police.
Right.
But the thing is that the controversy wasn't so much that this concert took place and they were, and all that. But the thing is, the controversies were, 1, they're apparently insulting the police.
Right.
2, it happened at Lingnan University.
Right.
On campus.
And what?
And it's very rude and crude and all this stuff,
And so.
Well, there you go. But then we had City Forum. We have every Sunday. We're in Victoria Park, RTHK's flagship program, I would say now. They were talking about this incident, and it was between the ex-Law Society chief, Junius Ho, Ho Kuan Yu, right? And let's see, it was against Lingnan University student Lau Chun Lam, right? And he said that the lyrics violated the public order ordinance.
Right.
And of course, that's $5,000 fine and punishable 12 months. 12 months in prison. Now,
so swearing now
lawyer.
So swearing is now a crime.
Well, I guess because it was against the police. But would that violate the public order ordinance according to your understanding?
I don't think so. According to my understanding.
Well, you understand the law better than most since you are practiced in it.
Yeah, but the thing is that it has a very high threshold to the court already had a case and saying that if you are saying that it's violating the public order ordinance, and it has a very high threshold to pass. So I don't think just swearing would have causing any disorder in public, and in this case definitely not, especially is happened in a university. And what about our freedom of expression as well? When we is it something like we cannot insult the police?
You see, the people are starting to change the definition of freedom of speech. Now, it's not just here. It also has to do with the attack that happened in Texas a few days ago, where they were having a Draw the Prophet Muhammad contest in Houston. And of course, we know that 2 gunmen showed up and tried to stage a massacre, but they kind of forgot that they were in Texas, where people know how to shoot and have guns.
Yes.
And they're not going to line up people and execute them because most are probably concealed carry holders. The same thing. People, again, are there, you're going too far with free speech. Don't insult people. Insulting people is now, that's political correctness. It's ass backwards, okay? Freedom of speech protects offensive speech and the most offensive speech, so long as it doesn't call for violence or death or murder. Okay, all speech is on the table. The most offensive speech is the most protected speech.
But what they are saying that is the police, that if you saying that the police, then it actually is a attack on them.
How's an attack on them? I'm not going to bend you over, throw some KY jelly on you, and have my way with you. F the police. It can be used as a noun as well. No, an adverb.
I think they have too much imagination.
An adjective, sorry. God, I'm supposedly a native English speaker. All right, as an adjective or a verb.
Right.
Okay, and I'm sure they weren't using it as a verb.
Right. Okay? I think he has too much imagination when he heard someone who's speaking that he actually visualized that that happening to a policeman and a young university guy. That's so hee.
well, I didn't finish what happened at City Forum. The ex-Law Society chief, Mr. Ho, he challenged the student to read out the lyrics on air on City Forum. Of course, the host is smarter than that and says, "Well, it's freedom of speech, but it would be against the broadcasting ordinance.
Right.
Where you can't use foul language and stuff like that at a certain time. It was City Forum airs at noon on Sundays.
Right.
You know, these are people coming home from church. The last thing they want to hear is, you know, the lyrics. And then there was another person on the panel.
A lady.
Yeah, Tang Xiuhua, right?
Right.
She was on there also siding with the university students, saying, well, it's freedom of speech. And then and then Mr. Ho comes out and says, why don't you prove freedom of expression and get naked right here? Suddenly what? They want if you table dance, suddenly that's freedom of expression? No, not really.
I think the first is that I'm not a feminist, but I think it's quite an insult for a lady and then asking her to strip in the public to prove some point. And obviously what she said is just to support the student because they have the right to express their view in the university. And then now suddenly asking her to strip, I think is quite an insult to her.
That's insulting, and so are the newspaper columnists, especially the newspaper columnists who are at least 50 or older, who are just saying this is offensive, this shouldn't be allowed, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Well, sorry. Freedom of speech does not just mean speech that is acceptable. You see? It also protects speech that the most protected speech is the speech that's not acceptable. That is freedom of speech.
Right.
You don't like it? Too bad. That's freedom of speech. I don't like half the stuff that I hear, but it doesn't mean I want them to be, you know, thrown in a hole. You got your speech, I got my speech. It's up to the people to accept what is acceptable or not.
Yeah. So, but basically, what people saying about Mr. Ho about the Mr. Tan is not about the freedom of speech, but just the insult to the woman. And I mean, people can, you know, don't like his speech, then criticize what he said. But at the same time, do you think that he has the right to
say strip to prove that there's freedom of expression? Well, she can. Again, we have laws on the books saying you can't have public nudity. That's a violation of an ordinance, I'm sure, right? He's saying do it that and on TV, so that'll be two violations of the broadcasting ordinance.
Do you think that is also a discrimination against a woman as well?
Strip? I don't know. Maybe because she said it.
Yeah,
that he pointed her out. He could have said it to him too.
It's just like when you said it also protects the most offensive speech, just like Mr. Ho. What he said is also very offensive. Then,
well, it was offensive. You know, to say why don't you prove it? Strip. Well,
see, what I say is that it shouldn't be not just. We should have the right to insult people, but at the same time, we should also. We know that the freedom of speech have the limitation as well. Just like
it comes down to just two things: calling for violence and death. I don't know what other limitations there are.
I would also call the discrimination ordinance in this regard as well.
Oh, what if you want to say racist stuff and
if it's
again, I to be honest, that's your freedom of speech. If you want to say racist stuff all day long, go ahead. Honestly. That is freedom of speech.
But
it is.
What I'm saying that
it's stupid, derogatory, and makes you look like an idiot. But it's your freedom of speech to do so. Why do you think they have like the KKK out there to let them say they're crap and the Black Panthers and stuff like that?
I think it's in the discrimination ordinance they also have a very high threshold when you say something and then probably you will have a criminal liability or civil liability.
Yeah, we need to be careful that we don't walk a fine line between political correctness,
right,
and freedom of speech.
Right.
Because right now around the world, especially in the West, political correctness is destroying freedom of speech. And we really have to be careful that we do not allow that to happen in this city as well. Because they're going to mask political correctness in a way where you think it's not offending people, so don't say it, but it's really trumping free speech.
I think so too. Yeah.
All right, so let's move on from that. It was interesting. Decent performance, by the way. But, you know. There was also an NWA song of the same name. You know, you didn't see people going, well, I'm sure they were at the time when it was released because it was a big deal. But at the same time, just because I play that song next to a cop doesn't mean I actually want to do that as a verb. You know what I mean? It just means I'm angry at the police. How about asking that? Why are the youth singing this kind of song against the police? Nobody wants to ask that question first. Why are they so upset with the police? What have they done that is bringing this type of response? Well, of course, certain people said that the police can do no wrong.
You cannot challenge them because they're the authority here.
Yeah,
so
you don't want to hurt their feelings.
Not do so.
And I said this in an earlier show. If you cannot, take you're a public official or a public officer.
Exactly.
You can't take a few words of abuse.
No, they can't because they're too fragile inside.
Poor little babies.
Exactly.
I've said that before.
And they are the authority. They're great. They will love us like our mother or like our parents. So it's you have to respect that, and it's the Mother's Day coming.
Speaking about mothers and everything, why don't we play clip 2?
Exactly.
政改三人組之一嘅袁國強同埋行政會議成員陳智思去到香港仔中心一帶向途人派單張，有人支持。
A political reform package is Rimsky-Yun, handing out handbills saying please support our crappy package. And here's Bernard Chan, EXCO member. He went into a restaurant to lobby public support, and he met this wonderful lady that's coming up.
And this once she will support it anyway.
This lady. What's she saying, Keith?
She's saying that what about if your grandparents are choosing your wife for you? And
would that be okay?
Yeah, would that be okay? And then Bernard Chan said that you have to get the confidence of the CCP. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
so basically she said she's putting the analogy because as the political reform package is presented to us, it is like CCP, if you want to use the analogy, as they're our grandmother or mother.
Yeah.
And she's giving approval to the son, Hong Kong, about who they can marry, the chief executive candidates, right? Would that be okay? That's what she asked. And his answer was?
He actually didn't give any answer. He just, talked about something.
And the issue.
Yeah.
And then, and a lot of people were like, that's correct. Would you strictly go on the advice of your parents? You want their blessing, sure, right? But at the end of the day, if you love somebody, you're going to marry them, even if it's not approved by the parents. And
I think that's the modern view.
Yeah, that's happened a lot of times.
Yeah.
And you still go ahead with it. You don't just say, well, they say no. So, well, some do, but most will say, no, I'm going to marry this person. And I'm sorry you don't understand, but that's what my heart wants, right? Not my pocketbook.
Right.
And so there's an interesting response, though, from the beloved Lung Sing. Yes. Who was the finance subcommittee chairman, remember, last year?
Yes.
And approved the NENT by subverting a lot of the rules of procedure.
Yes.
And so everybody knows him. So why don't we play that clip?
And
what is he saying?
Then he will trust his mother. And mother treating you good, and even she's choosing the wife. So people.
So thousands of years, people have been doing this.
Yeah. So it's okay to let your mother choose the wife for you.
So we obviously know how his marriage went about.
I have no idea.
But I think from that you might have a feeling. So
sometimes I really think this mother's love kind of overrated.
Well, no, and it's just that it's kind of silly to. We're in the 21st century, okay?
Yes.
Arranged marriages still happen in certain cultures, but overall, in Hong Kong culture, it's dead.
Right.
Right. People meet each other, date and.
Yeah, use Tinder.
Tinder. Jonathan, our
last time he talked about that.
Last week's guest mentioned that app. And what's the other one for
Grindr?
Grindr. Yeah, Tinder and Grindr. They use that, or the traditional way of maybe friends will set you up, or something like that.
Sometimes when we
not
watch
bars, those are one night stands.
Sometimes watch TV and then you see these Japanese or Korean. They still have this matching meeting arranged by the
well, some do.
Yeah,
that still happens. But
I still
overall,
find it quite bizarre.
Well, overall, that's dying or dead in certain cultures.
But would you agree that this analogy about mother and son or grandparents and grandson relationship in Hong Kong and China?
You won't sell it to the younger generation, sorry. You just won't. Because they're like, what do you mean? You know, yes, of course you want your parents' approval and the other side's parents' approval,
right.
Of course. But if they say no and you're in love, most likely you will say, well, too bad.
And then why are they still using this kind of analogy? It seems that they're not really using the right marketing promotion to sell their stuff. It's always using the wrong
in all honesty,
tactics.
The PR has been a disaster.
Yes.
When people challenge them, either they stay mute,
yes,
change the subject, or they go off on them.
Right.
As we saw with Ko Wing-man, the health secretary. And that's the problem, is that how do you defend something that is very hard to defend?
Right. And but at the same time, have to be fair, is that when the pandemic went on the street and to promote, they also got someone to shouting at them and saying,
but they can take the heat. Yes. They're not afraid.
They've been there for
exactly
the heat for a long time.
Exactly. They're not afraid to stand there and debate so long as you're cordial. You know? But if you're just going to come up to them and say, something Lomo, right? Then of course, how could you expect them to actually have a conversation? Because I saw a video of a lady shouting at Helena Wong.
Yeah,
from the Democratic
people said
Party.
that of course that rumor on the internet saying that lady was actually the member of the AB.
Well, maybe not. Even if it was, it's not like they went off on them, or you try to engage them. If they don't want to listen, they don't want to listen. Let them keep talking, and they'll eventually move on. I remember last year when we were at Tamar, just before Occupy kicked off, and they had the students in Tamar Park with their event, and there were old people just randomly coming up and shouting stuff.
Right.
At the booths and the people and.
But interesting to note one point about the video.
Threw them off the footbridge.
About the video is that most of the response are captured by the media from the old people, older generation. And that these government officials really trying to approach the old people and thought that they could sell their political reform to them.
Yeah.
But it's very funny that usually they get a
cold shoulder.
Yeah, exactly, or some ashes on their nose, and so. When people say that it's a fight between the generation, probably it's not that the case, because you can see that the older people, they actually support that we should throw down this political reform from these videos.
Yeah, because if you notice, most of the PR is that when the government officials are approaching people, most of the people they approach are elderly. They don't approach the young, the professionals, stuff like that. Because most likely they're not going to get the support. Or
the young people or the professional group will have a very big argument with them.
But don't worry. The government has a secret weapon.
What it is?
Gain support. Robert Chaoyong.
Wow.
He is the government's secret weapon when it comes to drumming up public support.
I like his white hair. He's really going on the trend.
Attractive?
Yeah, because you said the trend is the gray hair. He's got the white.
Yeah, he's already trended. He's way ahead of the trend.
Fashion guy.
I took some photos of the events. And, we'll bring them up a little later. It's no problem.
Just happened on Saturday.
It started yesterday? Right. Sorry. See, time flies. I don't even know what day it is anymore. So they started a signature campaign, the Alliance for...
Again?
Whatever, that True Democracy or something.
Didn't they have the signature campaign 3 months ago?
This is another one. I think this is number 3.
But what's the purpose? Is it a different...
To drum up support for the political reform package. And, I was in Wong Tai Sin, Sampo Kong area, and of course the guy's like, do you want to sign this? I don't support it. and just kept walking, and that's fine. But
what's the requirement?
It seems like they're on every street. I mean, it's amazing how they can get people mobilized so fast, and get the professional stuff all printed up, and
money talks.
Money talks, and BS walks, right?
But what about the requirement for joining this signature? You can't really just ask everyone to sign, right?
Yeah. So we'll look at some of these pics here that I took earlier today, and here's one that I took. There's the banners that are all over there, and you can see them sitting at the table near the MTR station.
Right.
So that's what's been going on since today. And looking at their clipboard, I didn't see like a crazy amount of signatures, but some people are signing it. Of course, you could sign Elvis Presley and put down
that's what they did last time
as 44469 or something like that.
I'm going to sign, I want real democracy.
Of course they'll say they'll check that and erase it or dump it or something. And you don't have to really be a citizen. Anybody can sign. They'll get domestic helpers to sign. Stuff like that. What's funny, actually? At the same time, they were having a charity drive by Oxfam.
Right.
Where give her a little money and you get a little bag of rice.
Yeah.
For a moment, I thought they were the ones handing out the bags of rice. I'm like, I got to take a photo. Oh, it's Oxfam. Okay, that's okay. That's all right.
So apart from having this signature campaign, and Robert Chow also have this new media launch last week. That's Hong Kong G.
Right, he started a new online news organization.
They're claiming to be neutral.
Oh yeah.
And
where's the money coming from?
Don't ask. Very dangerous question. And and then of course netizen immediately have a very quick response to that, and because Hong Kong G sounds like pig in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
In Cantonese, so it's Hong Kong pig.
All right, so we'll come back for the second half and continue with the news stories of the week.